Start off lying on your back. Put the feet on the floor, knees bent, arms at your side. You're going to need a block for this class. So we're going to start off with the block in between the thighs. I take the block and I put it way up high towards the root of the thighs. And I'm going to lie in Ardha Shavasana. From here, I put the hands behind the head. So put your hands behind your head, bend your elbows out to the side. Keep a little squeeze on your block and side bend to your right. So I'm crunching over to the right and trying to bring my elbow close towards my hip. And as you're bending to the side, breathe into your left side body. So draw your breath down into the bottom of your lungs. But feel as the breath starts to fill into the lungs, you're especially feeling more space come into your left side ribs, back of the armpit, chest. A few more breaths like this. As you're bending to the side, you still want to keep your feet even. You keep an even hug on the block. And your sacrum, the thick bony part just above your buttock, you want to make that feel even on the floor as well. Come back to center as you inhale. And as you exhale, bend over to the left. So feel your left side start to gently squeeze in to take you over. And as you inhale, take a deep breath down into the bottom of your lungs. Fill with air. And feel your right side ribs, armpit, chest, back of the armpit start to expand on the inhalation, at the top of the inhalation. Continue to breathe slow, steady breaths like this. So a lot of tension we hold back there, and those external rotators, they can get sticky. There's 3 little muscles that will get stuck all together, so we use some breath to try to get some space in there. So now inhale back to center, bend over to the right, come back to center, inhale over to the left, exhale, come back to center, inhale over to the right, exhale, come back to center, inhale, side bend to the left, keeping your feet even on the floor, exhale, come back to center. Good, now bring your arms to your side, take your legs up into tabletop position. So now you also need a strap for this class. You're going to take your strap and you're going to measure it so it's shoulder distance apart. Then take the strap and put it just above your elbows. Okay, now with the strap on your elbows, start to create the action like you're trying to break the strap. So pull out on the strap and slowly start to take the strap overhead. Keep your buttock down. Press your back ribs down into the floor, and without letting your back ribs lift, start to reach your arms. So turn on your core muscles, lift up through your pelvic floor, draw your navel in and up, and now really start to stretch your arms. Reach. Don't let the back ribs lift, keep them pressed down into the floor. Now see if you can take the legs straight. Take the legs out at a high diagonal. Try not to let your front bottom ribs start to lift up. Draw them in and down as you exhale. And as you inhale, stretch your body longer. Lengthen from your tailbone to the crown of your head, like your tailbone's lengthening to the front wall. Crown of the head back, reaching. Turn your knees in towards each other and hug the block evenly with your legs. That'll help to turn on your pelvic floor. Lift up through there. See if you can stretch the arms a little bit further. Maybe lower the legs another inch or 2. Keep your middle in. Don't let your ribs lift up away from your hip bones. Good. Now rebend your legs. Lose the block. Keep stretching your arms overhead though. Lower your right heel till it's just an inch above the floor and then slowly slide it out. Rebend the right leg and bring that up to meet the left. Lower your left heel till it's just an inch above the floor. Slide it out without letting your belly follow. Draw your belly in as you push the heel out. Rebend the leg and take it back up. Same thing with the right. Lower the heel till it's just an inch above the floor and slide the leg out. Keep stretching your arms. Rebend your leg, bring it back up. Lower your left heel till it's just an inch above the floor and slowly stretch it back out. Keep your abdomen deep, especially on the left side. Rebend the leg and bring it back up. Right leg goes forward. Rebend it and bring it back up. Left heel lowers and goes forward. Keep your hip bones even. Now take the right leg straight up and scissor the legs. So change them in midair. Both legs straight as you can make them. Keep scissoring the legs. So as I'm doing this, I'm using stronger exhalations to help control the middle. I keep the back ribs pressed down. So just above your navel and your back, start to push down into the floor, but also keep the top buttock pushed down so you're not tucking your pelvis. Keep moving with your breath, scissoring the legs. Keep the legs turned as if they're still holding the block. Now take the legs straight up to the ceiling. Reach past your fingers, bring the arms back up, release the strap. Now grab a hold of the sides of the mat and roll your shoulder tips to the floor. Press the shoulder tips down. Lower both legs a third of the way and hold there. Keep your belly in. Lower your legs another third of the way. Hold there. Keep your belly in. Lower your legs maybe one more inch or two. Keep the legs straight. Keep squeezing in like when you're holding the block. The same muscles that turned on when you did that in your core. Squeeze in. See if you can lower your legs maybe one more inch. And then slowly with control bring the legs straight back up. One more time. Inhale, lower the legs a third of the way. Hold there. Lower one more inch. Lower another inch. Lower one more inch. Maybe one more. Keep your belly in and slowly bring the legs up just 1 inch and hold. Keep your shoulders down. Keep your neck long. Lift the legs one more inch. Hold there. Bring the legs straight up. Rebend your knees and put your feet on the floor. Take your feet as wide as your yoga mat. Spread your arms out to the side and let your knees fall over to the left. So the feet are wide, knees over to the left. To intensify the stretch, you could cross your left ankle just on the outside of your right knee. And then breathe into your outer right hip. Keep your tailbone lengthening towards your knee so that it doesn't make your lower back arch too much. The right shoulder presses down. Right side ribs turn back down to the floor. Bring your knees back to center. And now let your knees fall over to the right. Keep your left shoulder down. Lengthen your back along the floor. Now cross your right ankle over your left knee, if you did on the other side. Slowly start to bring the knee closer towards the floor, but keep length through your low back. Breathe into the stretch. Smooth, deep, even breaths in and out through the nose. So always in the stretch, you want to measure and see what you're doing with your breath. If you're holding your breath, the stretch might not be going right. So breathe evenly through your nose. Bring your knees back to center and hug your knees to your chest. Rock and roll up to seated. If it feels right to rock it back a bit back and forth, go ahead and do that. And then come all the way up to seated. And come onto your hands and your knees. Place the hands slightly forward of the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And as you inhale, arch your back, cat-cow. Exhale, round your back, tuck your butt under, look back at your navel, spread your shoulder blades, press your hands down. Inhale, pull your chest through, arch your back. Exhale, round, buttocks pushes under, draw your belly up. Inhale, arch your back. And then come into a neutral spine, somewhere right in between arched and rounded. Now, right where you were stretching in your armpits and breathing, I want you to squeeze in and down there, but pull your heart forward. Keep your belly lifted. Send your left leg back into a plank position, and then send the right leg back to meet it without anything changing in your middle. So you shouldn't feel your hips twist side to side. Both sides of your belly should feel like they're drawing up. Keep putting that squeeze in your armpits, and as you push back through your heels, lift your inner thighs from your buttock, draw your navel in, and lift your sternum, pull it forward. Now roll into the outer edge of your left foot and take your right arm up. Side plank, Vashistasana. Same work in your legs. Push through your feet. Take your thighs back. Firm your buttock in and down. Draw your navel up and lift and broaden your chest. Bring your head back into the line of your spine. Slowly come back to plank position. Then right to the other side. Gentle squeeze in the armpit to help stabilize that right arm in its place. Try to stack up your hips and your shoulders to the best of your ability. So when you're doing intense stuff like this, there's a tendency to hold the breath or be more drawn towards the exhalation. Even though the work's getting intense, keep a steady rhythm of your breath. Slowly come back to plank position. Hold there. And move back to downward facing dog. Steady back to down dog. Keep the press in the inner hand. Keep a lift on your forearms and slowly move your hips back away from your wrists. Lift the front body towards the back body. Press the thighs back and stretch the heels towards the floor. Try to create more length between your heels and your buttock. If you're real tight in your upper back and it's rounding, you might have to bend your knees to get your upper spine to move in. Then walk your feet to the front of the mat. Take your strap and grab a hold of your strap behind your back. Hands shoulder width apart. Stretch the arms up and overhead. Keep a little bend in your knees as you do this. Now bend the right knee and start to straighten the left leg. Turn your chest to the left. Rotate so you let your right side rest towards your right knee. Now bring a little bit more weight back into your left foot so the feet still feel like they have even weight in them. Change legs. Bend your left knee, straighten your right leg, and turn your chest to the right. Lean a little bit more into your right toes. Good, then come back to center, fold forward, stretch the arms all the way overhead. Then release the strap. And come into Utkatasana. Bend the knees, sit the hips back, real low chair but with the arms forward, modified Utkatasana. Now, keeping your middle in, slowly start to stretch your arms up. So same work when you're on the floor. If you look at that spot that I was trying to press my back into the floor, so right where the back ribs are, I keep that so it's not pushing in and up. So the ribs stay in. Now, from here, bring the weight over into your right foot and slide your left leg back into a lunge. Bend a little bit deeper into the front of your right heel. Squeeze your right hip in, pull the right thigh bone in, and gradually start to straighten the left leg without letting your belly drop. Pull your belly up as you lift up on your back inner knee and push through your back heel. Take a few breaths here to feel the stretch. Good, then step back or step forward to the front of your mat again into Utkatasana, chair pose. Feet hip distance apart. Now shift the weight over into your left foot and as smooth as you can, step your right leg back into a lunge. Now bend your right knee a bit, pull your left thigh bone in, squeeze your left hip in, draw your navel in. Slowly start to straighten your right leg, push through the heel and lift up through the inner leg. But as you do that, try not to let your middle push out. So keep your navel drawing in and up. Especially on the exhalation, you watch it release back to the spine. And as you inhale, feel more length through your body, through the side body, stretch with the arms. All right, now step to the front of your mat again, Utkatasana, chair pose. Press to stand, arms to your side. So stand in Tadasana, but with the block in between your thighs. So take the block in between your thighs and walk to the back of your mat. So as you stand there, turn your thighs so that the fronts of the thighs point straight ahead. Then take your arms out to the side. Externally rotate the arms, reach them all the way up and overhead. And as you squeeze on the block, reach over to the left. So work the side bending again. Press down into your right heel. So as you hold the block, turn your thighs, internally rotate your thighs until it feels like the whole inner surface of your thigh is even on the block and your knees are pointing straight ahead. Inhale, come back up, and side bend over to the right. So as you bend, keep pressing into your left heel. Move your thigh bones back over your ankles. Lift up through the fronts of the legs, lift your side chest and reach. Push your buttocks towards your heels. Inhale, come back up, turn your palms to face each other. And exhale, bring your arms back to the side. So from the back of your mat, stand in Tadasana again, chest open, push to the heels, thighs back, navel up, heart forward, or heart lifted. Take your arms up and inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, create a flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Lift your belly, move your upper spine in. Now walk out into a plank position. Shoulders right over your wrists, legs strong. Shift forward, put that squeeze in on your armpits gently, shift forward and lower slowly to chaturanga. Press straight back up, downward facing dog. So we're going to practice chaturanga a few times. If you haven't done chaturanga, there's another video coming out soon with chaturanga. You can watch that one. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Press into your feet, come all the way up. Reach your arms up and overhead, over to Vashistasana. Exhale, hands to your side, Samasthiti. Inhale, stretch your arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, create a flat back, lengthen. Exhale, start to walk the hands out, but squeeze on your block to help engage the legs, to help engage your middle. Shift forward and slowly lower to elbow height, no lower. Keep your chest open, legs strong. Lift straight back up to plank position. Press back, downward facing dog, walk your feet, hands back to your feet. Inhale, flat back, lengthen out. Exhale, fold forward. Come all the way up, press into your feet and reach your arms up. Exhale, arms to your side. One more time. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back, lengthen. Exhale, walk it out into plank pose. So try not to let your thighs drop. Lift up on your thighs, but firm your buttock in. Draw your middle in, shift forward. Lower slowly to elbow height. Keep the collarbones broad, navel in. Press into your hands, inhale, come back up. Exhale, dog pose. Walk your hands back to your feet. Inhale, flat back. Hold in the flat back position and walk back out into a plank. Shift forward and lower to chaturanga. Then lower all the way to your belly. Flip your toes back and come into baby cobra. So start to roll your chest forward and up. Arms in a chaturanga position. So they have that little 90-degree angle. Your wrists are under your elbows. Now lift your legs up an inch up off the mat. Adjust your thighs so it feels again like the inner surface of the thighs even on the block, and then squeeze in on the block. Pull your belly in and up and move your heart forward. Roll the shoulder heads away from the floor. Keep your neck long. Continue to move the upper spine into extension. So coil your upper spine in like you had a knee in your upper back and someone was lifting your shoulders and pulling the elbows towards each other. Keep stretching the legs. Now maintain that action in your back so you come into up dog. Roll your chest forward and up. Try not to let the shoulders round forward. Press the tops of the feet. Lift the inner thighs. Move the buttocks to your heels. And as you lift your belly, roll your chest up. All right, good. Back to downward facing dog. Breathe evenly in and out through your nose. Look in between your hands and maybe hop your feet to the front of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold, let all the air out, let your head drop. Now move the block to the side. Fold forward. A couple more breaths in this forward fold. Breathe into the backs of your legs. Maybe fold a little bit deeper by walking the hands back. Good. Now bring your hands to your hips, press into your feet, come all the way up. Step to the front of your mat and stand in mountain pose, Tadasana. So in Tadasana, the feet are together. Adjust the thighs as if they're holding the block again. Create that squeezed in feeling. That should help your core to turn on. Surya Namaskar B. Inhale into chair pose. Bend your knees and sit back. Exhale, fold forward as the legs straighten out. Inhale, flat back, lengthen. Exhale, step back to plank pose, keeping your heart forward as you step back. Shift forward and lower slowly with control, precision to chaturanga. Flip your toes back. Inhale into upward facing dog. Roll the chest forward and up. Try to create that same action in your upper spine. Glide back to downward facing dog. Flowing with the breath. Step your right foot. Warrior one. So step your right foot up close to your right thumb. Turn your back heel down. Now squeeze your right hip back in. And as you push through your back heel, back leg straight, lift your belly and come up, reach the arms up. Exhale, bring your hands back down and slowly lower to Chaturanga. Same exhalation finds you at the bottom of the pose. Deep breath in, upward facing dog. Stretch through your toes, open your chest, press the back of the skull back. Exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. From down dog, step your left foot, turn your back heel, position the feet heel to heel, squeeze your left hip back in, and as you make the back leg strong, warrior one, inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, bring the hands back to the mat. Shift forward and lower slowly to Chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So the salutations are a great warm-up. And when you move, you want to be moving slow enough so that you have some precision, some awareness of your alignment, but not so slow to where you start to overthink it. Remember, it's a warm-up, so it doesn't have to be so precise to where you start overthinking it. So from down dog, look in between your hands, bend your knees, step or hop your feet to the front of the mat, all the way up there. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Let all the air out as you fold. Press into chair pose. Sit back, take your arms up, weight in the front of the heels. Press to stand, arms to your side. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back, lengthen, Ardha Uttanasana. Plant your hands, keep your heart forward and step back. Lower slowly to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step your right foot, warrior one. Inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your left foot, warrior one. Inhale the arms up. Exhale the Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe steady through your nose. So just feel the energy, the heat that's starting to move through your body. Balance it out with a steady breath. Look in between your hands. Step or hop lightly to the front of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale into chair pose. Bend your knees. Sit the hips back. Press to stand, Samastiti. One more time. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold forward as the legs straighten out. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Chaturanga. Step or jump. Right to Chaturanga this time. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Warrior one, step your right foot. Inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Warrior one, step your left foot and inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Hold here in down dog, take the feet hip distance apart. Press into the inner hand and lift up on the forearm. Turn your triceps, outer arms down, and start to hug them in to the bone. Move the hip creases away from the wrists. Now inhale into plank position, pull your right knee up to your chest, round your back, step your right foot in the middle of your hands, right in the middle. Now spin your back heel flat onto the floor. Put your right hand on the outside of your foot on a block, or on the fingertips. Since we have the block, use the block today. Take your left arm up to the ceiling. Or put it on your hip actually. Left hand on your hip. So if you look at your feet, they're lined up heel to arch, your back foot's angled in a little bit, and you want to press your right knee up against your arm as you squeeze your right butt in. Now take your top arm up Externally rotate the arm, turn the palm to face forward, and stretch the arm all the way overhead. So as you hold in this pose, you want to keep a lift on the inner line of your back leg. So the whole inner seam of your back leg stays lifted from the arch all the way up to your groin. As you do that, it'll help you connect into the heel. So keeping that lift, now start to bend your right leg a little bit deeper. Lengthen the inner leg forward. Bend a little bit deeper and feel the weight right on the front center of your right heel. So you're not rolled to the outer or inner foot. Continue to breathe evenly. Now lift your side chest away from your hips. Keep the lift as you bend the right leg just a little bit more. Bring your left hand back to your hip. Now slide your right hand a foot in front of your foot on the block on the low height and lift your back leg up. Keep the right leg bent a bit and press the knee open. Spin the thigh out. Press down evenly into your right foot, the center of the heel, the big toe mound and the little toe mound. And to straighten the leg, start to lift up through it instead of pushing the knee back. Pretend like you could lift up through the ankle and lift the head of the shin up towards the hip socket. Once you're steady, you can take your left arm up. If you need to keep your top hand on your hip the whole time, that's fine. Now push through your left heel and feel that strong line of energy from your back heel all the way to the crown of your head, like one straight line. Spread the arms and open your chest like in side plank. So we're going to hold here. Continue to breathe steady in and out through the nose. Check in with your right foot, your foundation foot. Make sure it's even. Squeeze your right hip in strong so it's stacked over your ankle. And as you open your chest, push through your back heel. Lengthen, pull up your belly. Bend your right leg and step back into triangle pose as smooth as you can. So the feet line up heel to arch again. The right thigh turns out so that the knee points straight ahead. It's in line with the second toe. And as you squeeze your right hip in, move your left thigh back and lift your chest. So it's not a back bend. Make sure that you have length through your lower back. Spread your arms to help open up your chest muscles. Bring your left hand to the mat. Bend your right leg so you're in a lunge. Spin the back heel up. Now plant the left hand. Turn the left inner arm forward and take your right arm up. Twist. Roll to the outer edge of your left foot and step back into side plank, or fun variation, you could grab your big toe and stretch it up as you step back to side plank. So it's not a requirement. You can just hold with the arms up and the feet stacked. We're going to hold here for 5 breaths, whichever one you do. If you have your big toe, release it now and come into side plank. Stack the hips, shoulders. Slowly come back to plank position. From plank pose, pull your left knee up to your chest. Press back to downward facing dog. Take a break. Take a breath. Now shift into plank pose and pull your left knee up to your chest. Round out your back, lift your knee up high, and step your foot right in the middle of your hands. Spin your back heel flat onto the mat. Left hand on the outside of your foot on the block. Now squeeze your left hip in as you bring your right hand to your hip. So control in your legs. Press evenly into your feet. Find the legs. Set up the legs first with your right hand on your hip. Then start to open your chest. And as you work that lift of the inner seam of your back leg, start to bend the left knee and press the knee open. Squeeze the hip in. Take your top arm up. Externally rotate and reach it all the way overhead. So you're looking for a line of energy from your back heel all the way to your right fingertips. Your left leg should be spinning out so that the knee presses against the arm, and you're squeezing your left butt in as you press your right thigh back to get more space, more length. Then lengthen through all 4 sides of your waist and lift your side chest up off of your hips. Breathe steady in and out through your nose. So feel the full length of the breath. It's helping you to expand the tissues to create more space in the body, more length. Bring your right hand to your hip. Slide your left hand a foot in front of you in line with your pinky toe and slowly start to step up to balance. So put a little bend in your left knee once you get up and get even on your left foot. Press into the big toe mound, the ball of your big toe, the ball of your pinky toe, and the center of your left heel. Now keep that pressure in the 3 points as you start to lift up through your inner and outer arches. Sometimes I just say ankles to save time or give you a different idea, but lift up through the arches, through the ankles, and start to lift the kneecap. Squeeze the left hip in And as you squeeze your left hip in, now start to open up as if your back was against a wall. Press through the right heel, lengthen through the low back so you're not sinking. Remember, it's not a back bend. You keep your belly in, and start to open the chest as you stretch your arms. The neck is long through all four sides, just like the waist is long through all four sides. Stay steady with your breath. You'll notice that the back leg wants to keep dropping, so keep a lift on the inner leg until you feel that leg align with your torso. Slowly start to bend your left leg and take a smooth step back into triangle pose. So in triangle pose, I put the block just behind the heel on the outside of the leg. My hand is flat, but you could be up onto your fingertips if you need to. Now press evenly into your feet, lift up through your legs. Squeeze your left hip in, press your right thigh back without losing the squeeze in of the hip, and lift your side chest. Lift up through the front of the body, roll the chest open, spread your arms, maybe even turn your gaze up towards your thumb. Bring your right hand back to the mat and bend your left knee so it's right over your ankle. Spin the right heel up. Plant the right hand, and as you push the inner hand, lift up on the inner arm, turn your chest but not your hips, and take your left arm up. Now step back to side plank, roll into the outer edge of your right foot, maybe take the big toe if you did on the other side, like I'm showing. So whichever one, if you're doing this one where you take your big toe up, you got to keep that squeeze on your left hip, just like you're working in triangle pose. It's the same action. It's just like different, turning your body in different ways, but the same action in the hips. Release the leg and slowly come to plank pose if you're holding it up. From plank pose, press back to downward facing dog. Stretch it out. Steady your breath again. So come back to your rhythm of your breath. Smooth, steady breathing. Look in between your hands. Step or jump lightly to the front of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. All right, now lift your heels up and squat down onto your heels. Take your knees wide apart. Put your arms on the insides of your knees. Take your arms all the way forward. Externally rotate them. Turn the palms up and then hook your arms. So like bring your elbows into your shins. So with your legs out there on the outside of your arms, start to squeeze in and lean forward into your chaturanga arms. Now see if you can press into the inner hands. Turn on your core. Lift up through your pelvic floor. Squeeze in. Crow pose. Now maybe if you would like to try this variation, you could lower your head down and take your legs up. Go into tripod headstand. Elbows stay squeezed in. Then from tripod headstand, rebend your legs. Set the knees on the outsides of the arms. Squeeze in. Turn on your core and come back to crow pose. Look forward and step or jump back lightly to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Look in between the hands, jump or step to the front of your mat. One more time, work on crow pose. So hook the knees in the outer upper arms. Squeeze in. That squeeze in feeling will help to make it feel light so it doesn't feel like you're heavy on your arms, so it doesn't require as much arm strength. So you turn on your core. Squeeze in like when you're squeezing the thighs with the block. Draw your belly in and up. All right, now lower into a squat, come into Malasana. Heels down, hands in prayer position, arms on the insides of the knees. Press all the way up to stand, reach your arms up. Bring your arms to your side. Stand in Tadasana, mountain pose. Find your center, balance across your feet. Inhale into chair pose with the hands on the hips. Cross your left knee over your right knee, spread your arms out, and then cross your left elbow under your right elbow. Garudasana, eagle pose. Stay even across those 3 points on your right foot. As you squeeze in with your legs, you adduct your legs, turn your hips more forward. Turn on your middle, and now start to take your elbows forward and up without your shoulder blades coming up around your ears. Relax your upper traps. Feel the shoulder blades broaden. Now start to lean your chest forward with a flat back. Uncross your left leg as smooth as you can, transition into Warrior 3. So in Warrior 3, try not to let the hips open to the left. Keep the hips parallel to the floor and lift the left leg up from the inner thigh. Keep the hips even. As you lift your belly, start to move your elbows forward. Now lower the left hand to the block or to the floor. Put your right hand on your sacrum. Start to turn your chest without the hips twisting, so you could feel your left hip wants to drop to the floor. Keep a lift on your outer left hip. Squeeze the right hip in, squeeze the left hip against it. Now draw your middle in, and now feel the turn start to come from above your navel. Turn, spread the arms, reach, but keep that back leg up to hip height. Keep pushing through the back heel. Lower your hand and fold forward. Lower your left leg to meet your right. Let your head drop. Take a breath or two. Inhale, come into chair pose. Then press to stand. Bring your arms to your side. Samastiti. Stand steady. Hands on the hips. Sit back into chair pose. Cross your right knee over your left knee this time. Inhale your arms out to the side. And cross your right elbow under your left. So as you get even on those 3 points in your left foot, squeeze your legs in again. Adduct the legs. Turn your hips towards forward. Feel your middle start to turn on, and begin to take the elbows forward and up. Depending on your shoulder mobility, it'll be different for everybody how far the elbows will go forward and up without the upper traps coming up around your ears. Now start to lean your chest out over your knees, uncross your leg, and reach it back into Warrior 3. Lift the back leg up from the inner thigh. Make sure that your hips don't twist funky as you do this. The hip bones should be even to the floor. You're even on the left foot. Squeeze in on the left hips. Compact your outer hips. Squeeze both hips in. Now draw your middle in and up. Move your elbows forward, heart forward. Steady, lower your right hand to the block or to the floor. Put your left hand on your sacrum. Now turn your chest without turning your hips. It'll help to think of lengthening. So the action of lengthening turns on certain core muscles, like you're getting pulled your spine long. So we want to work two different actions, squeezing in and lengthening. Squeeze in on the hips, pull up in your middle, lengthen as you turn your chest. Keep that back leg firing, keep pressing through the back heel. Inhales to lengthen, exhales to turn more. Lower your hand, lower your right leg to meet your left and fold forward. Drop your head. Good. Now inhale, flat back, press into your feet, come all the way up to stand. Reach your arms up. Keep your left arm up. Take your right arm behind your back from under. So bend the elbow and slide your hand up between your shoulder blades and between your upper back. Keep reaching the left arm. Bend the left elbow now and see if you can interlace your hands. So once you get that, your ribs middle want to push way out. Press the heels down, take your thighs back, draw your middle in as you lift your sternum. Now step your left foot back about 4 feet, 3.5, maybe 4 feet, depending on the length of your legs. As you inhale, lift the chest, elbow. Exhale, fold forward halfway. Press down into your feet, lift up through your legs. And as you send your inner buttock bones back, squeeze in on your outer hips. Draw the navel in, and then start to move your chin towards your shin, fold forward. As you're folding forward here, try not to let the right leg buckle or like the knee move back. So I err on the side of keeping a micro bend in my knee. It doesn't have to be that micro bend, but don't let your knee lock back. Press down into your feet, inhale, come back up, right hand on your hip, reach your left arm up. Exhale, fold forward halfway. Now set the hand down on the block or on the floor on the outside of your leg. If it's too hard on the outside, you put it on the inside. Now inhale, find your length, find your flat back. Turn your chest, reach your right arm up. So inhales to lengthen, exhales to twist. Squeeze your right hip in so it's in the line of your right ankle. Once you get that hip aligned, press through your back heel and find that line, lengthen out through your spine, straight out through the crown of your head. So if you look down at the floor and your head is like in front of or way back behind your foot, you should be like aiming it straight out right along that line of your big toe. Now from here, bring your hands down and step up to balance on your right leg. And if you want to add on, you bring your right hand to the back of your right ankle. Lift your left leg up from the inner thigh, standing splits. Breathe into your right leg. Keep your belly drawing towards your spine as the left leg lifts. Lower your left leg to meet your right and fold forward. Press down into your feet. Inhale, come all the way up. Reach your arms up. Keeping the arms up, take your left arm from under and take it in between your shoulder blades. Externally rotate the right arm, turn the tricep in, bend the elbow, and see if you can bind your fingers. If you can't bind the fingers, you have that strap. So you can use a strap or a shirt or a towel, whatever you have. Then step your right leg back about 4 feet. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, fold forward halfway. Hold there, press evenly through the feet and lift up through the legs. Find your length. Inner buttock bones reach back. Outer hips squeeze in, outer legs squeeze in. Then draw your belly in and start to move your chin towards your shin. Lengthen out along your leg. So right where your hands are on your upper back, instead of letting it round way out, keep your hands there as a reminder to lengthen the upper spine, like you're going to touch your head to your big toe. Then press into your feet. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Place your left hand on your hip and reach your right arm up. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward halfway. Set your hand down on the block or on the floor. Find your length as you inhale. Left hand on your hip still. Guide the left hip in. Start to turn your chest. Once you're steady, you can take your left arm up. Stay balanced across the 3 points in your feet. Squeeze your left hip in so it's aligned with your ankle. Press through your back heel through the floor, and as you inhale, start to lengthen your spine. Try to reach and extend the crown of your head straight out in front of you, like it's going to touch a wall straight in front of you. As you inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, turn your ribs and your chest more. Draw your belly in and up to help yourself turn. Bring your left hand back to the mat now. Step up to balance on your left leg. So lift the right leg up from the inner thigh. Stack your left hip right over your ankle. You can use your left hand to help pull yourself a little deeper into the forward fold if you like. Bring the left hand to the back of the ankle. And as you pull yourself in a bit, start to lift that right leg up higher from the inner thigh. Lift on the outer left hip as you push into the foot. Draw the navel in and fold a little bit deeper. Lower your right foot to meet your left. Fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, create a flat back. Exhale, step back to plank position. From plank pose, come into plank on your forearms. So take the elbows right underneath your shoulders and take your hands shoulder width apart. Put the block in between your hands to make sure that your hands do stay shoulder width apart, and make sure that the elbows stay in. So from here, start to walk into down dog on your forearms. Don't let the elbows splay out as you walk in, and try not to let your upper back round. So pretend like you have a knee in your upper back. Press the shoulder blades into your back, lift them away from your ears. Keep the forearms pressed evenly from your wrist to your elbows. Now squeeze in with your outer arms, outer armpits gently. And now start to lift your right leg up from the inner thigh, but try not to let the hips twist. Lower the leg back down and lift the left leg up from the inner thigh without the hips twisting. Stay balanced across your shoulders. You're going to feel the weight rolling to one arm or the other. Try to stay even. Now lower the left leg back down. Walk back into plank on your forearms. Fire your leg muscles. Draw your middle in. Make your neck long. Pull your heart forward. Hold here for a few more breaths. So strong core is going to help you in your inversions. Lower your knees down. Sit back on your heels. Fold forward. Come into child's pose. You can take the arms back at your side if you like. Give yourselves a few breaths here in child's pose to find your center. Let the breath start to slow down. So you've been working really hard. I remember when I was doing this practice, a lot of heat in the body at this time. So you're going to use that heat in the inversion. Everything we did to warm up the shoulders, the stretching of the shoulders, everything we did to educate the core muscles and to stretch the legs, we're going to use it in this inversion now. It's called Pincha Mayurasana, or forearm balance. So to do this inversion, I'm going to move the mat right up against the wall. I don't have a wall, but I have this little pole thing that I'm going to use. So I move the mat so it's right up against, I'll just say wall. And then I have the block and the strap. So the strap, it gets measured so that it's, if you put your fingers in the strap, it's center shoulder to center shoulder with your fingers wide in the strap. So then you're going to take the strap and put it just above your elbows. And then I have the hands turned so the thumbs point up. So I want you to see where I put that strap. It's right above the elbow there. Okay, now the thumbs are pointing up. I have the whole hand even against the block, and the block is right up against the wall. The elbows are in underneath the shoulders. The strap needs to be tight enough. So I press the forearms down, just like we were doing, and then I lift the knees up. So you're in down dog on your forearms. From here, lift one leg up, and see if you can kick it up and over to the wall. So when you're doing this, there's a tendency right away to start to sink. Press your forearms down, lift your shoulder blades out of your ears, and now slide up with your legs up the wall like you're trying to slide the heels up the wall. You're going to feel that your ribs want to drop to the floor, and you'll start to arch in your lower back. Draw your ribs towards your hip bones. Lift your buttocks out of your lower back. Then lower yourself back down. Take a breath. One more time. We'll go up and try to kick up with the other leg. So come into down dog on the elbows again. Curl the toes under and lift the knees up. Now from here, take the other leg up, lift from the inner thigh, try not to let the hips twist. Look at your block. And now, swing the legs up and over. Steady as you can, stay steady on the arms like we practiced in down dog on the forearms. So right away, draw your middle in, squeeze in with your legs. Remember when you were holding the block with your thighs and you had to turn on those muscles to squeeze in? That's going to help you so you don't sink into your lower back. Then stretch the legs strong, reach. All right, lower the legs back down. Sit back on your heels. So just take a few breaths here. Find your center again. So that pose creates a lot of heat, but also help you feel energized for the rest of your practice, maybe. Inversions can help to build confidence. They give you a different perspective. There's a different feeling in your mind after you do the inversion. So from here, let's come into Virasana. And we'll sit with this for a little bit. So with the knees together, take your feet wide enough for your buttocks to fit in between, and slowly start to lower your buttocks in between your heels. Now walk your hands back under your shoulders, roll your chest open. So if that's enough opening for you, you can just stay there. Otherwise, take your block and position it so that your block is going to go on your upper back. So I have it long ways, so the skinny part of the block is in my back, so it's like along with the length of my spine. And then I'm just going to start to back bend with the block in the upper back over the block. So if this looks like, if you're looking at this, you're like, my body doesn't move that way, that's okay. Just stay with the one with your hands under your shoulders. Otherwise, you can start to back bend over the block with the hands on the heels. And to make it a little bit deeper of a stretch, you could take your elbows and stretch them overhead. So the shins press down, the inner thighs release down. Move your buttocks to the backs of your knees, and then slowly start to reach your elbows back towards the wall behind you. But as you do this, keep control in your middle, so don't let the front ribs lift way up. Use your exhalation, draw the bottom ribs back down towards your hips gently. Use your inhalation, fill up into your side chest, and lift and broaden the chest as you stretch the elbows. Good, then bring your hands back to your side, press down to come up. And let's try camel pose now. So sit up tall on your shins. Put your hands on the top of your buttock. Knees are hip width apart, feet are hip width apart. Press the shins down. Now roll your inner thighs back, and to feel it, put your hands now on the tops of the backs of your legs. Broaden the backs of the legs. Draw your belly in and up, and now start to roll your chest up and over like you were doing on the block. Maybe the hands can come to the heels, so to do it, I curled the toes under for the first round to elevate the heels, so I don't have to drop the hands as low. So you don't have to put your hands on anything. You keep your hands right where they are on the backs of the legs and work on your back bend like I'm doing. Or if you feel ready for it, you can put your hands on your heels. Remember, like, yoga is not a competition. It's about making your body healthy. So if the inversion wasn't working for you, don't worry about it. You don't have to do it. If this back bend is too extreme for your back, just work with the hands on the legs. It's supposed to make your body healthy. Bring your hands to your hips, come back up, and then point the toes back, sit back on your heels for a breath or two. So as you sit here, be content with the amount of back bend you did. Just feel all that energy move through you now. Feel the effects of the back bend, how cool that feels in your body. So now knees hip width apart again, feet hip width apart. We'll put the hands on the same place. Now slowly start to back bend. So inhale, lift your chest, roll the shoulders back, and then maybe hands to the heels with the feet flat this time. Wherever you got in your back bend, we're going to hold here for a few more breaths. Press down into the shins, roll the outer thighs forward. Inhale to come back up. Exhale, sit back on your heels. So the next pose we're going to do is Parigrasana, gate latch pose. So in this pose, it's just like you're preparing for camel, except I have a block over to the side. The foot's going to go on the block. So I keep my left knee underneath my hip. I post the right foot to the side and stretch the right leg all the way out. So with your right leg, the toes are turned up. Turn the inner thigh up and spread the arms out. Externally rotate your arms and then side bend over to the right. So as you do, keep your left shin anchored and keep your left hip stacked over your left knee. So there's only a certain amount you can side bend here, keeping your chest open. So keep the chest open at first and reach over to the side. And now start to turn your chest slightly towards your big toe and slide your right hand as far down your leg as you can. Now really reach over to the side. So in this one, I've given up the amount that the chest is turning up and it's turning down just slightly. So I keep sliding, reaching the hand past the foot. Inhale to come back up. And change legs. Put the right knee down. Block goes over to the other side of your mat. So first, bend your left leg and post the foot on the floor. Sit up tall. And then slide the left heel out. Keep the right hip stacked over the right knee as you slide your heel out. The block just goes underneath the toe mounds. Inhale the arms out to the side. Externally rotate your arms, turn the palms to face up and inhale. Exhale, reach over to the left. So as you're reaching, keep the right shin anchored like you would in camel pose. Keep a lift on your inner left thigh. Now as you exhale, start to turn your chest gaze slightly towards your foot and slide your left hand as far out along your leg as you can. Maybe you can even reach past the foot to the floor. Keep reaching, but keep the right hip stacked over the knee. Press into your feet. Inhale, come back up. Put your knees back on the floor. Sit back into Virasana for a moment. So now knees are together, feet wide enough for your buttocks, and now put the block underneath your buttock on the medium height or on the low height. Feel what feels right for you. Interlace your fingers. Turn your palms to face forward. Raise your arms up and overhead, Urdhva Anguli Asana. Then twist to your right. So release the bind of the hands, put your left hand on the outside of your right knee, right hand behind you, and twist. Roll your right shoulder back, open your chest, but try not to lean forward or back. Keep the crown of your head over your pelvic floor. Inhale, come back to center. Interlace your hands with the other index finger on top and turn your palms, reach up. Move your elbows in. And as you exhale, twist to your left. Bring your right hand to the outside of your knee. Left fingers post behind you. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, turn your chest, ribs. Good, then come back to center. Remove the block and sit with your legs wide apart, Vashistasana. So as you sit there with your hands behind you, turn your legs so that the knees point straight up to the ceiling. All 10 toes point straight up to the ceiling. Now turn your chest to face your left foot, open up, and now slide your right hand along the inside of your right leg and reach over. So remember not to force your body in any position it doesn't want to be in. But if you're able to reach your left arm all the way over and grab a hold of the outside of your foot, you can reach the hand towards the pinky toe side. And inhale, come back up. Sit up tall, lift your chest. Then turn to face your right foot. Slide your left hand along the inner seam of your left leg. Reach and see if you can grab a hold of the inner foot. And as you exhale, maybe you can reach your right hand to grab a hold of the outside of the foot, pinky toe side. Inhale to come back up. Put your fingertips in front of you and start to crawl your hands forward. So as you crawl forward, an action I like to use in my legs, pretend like you're pulling from your inner legs into your hip sockets and move your inner buttock bones back. And then at the same time, squeeze your outer hips in and lengthen through your side body. Draw your belly up and move further forward. Even though you're in forward flexion, like your back is rounding forward, keep lengthening the whole time. Keep the idea that you're lengthening your spine. Keep reaching through the feet as if you're pressing the feet into walls. Descend your top thighs. Good. Then inhale, come all the way back up. Walk your hands back. Bend your left leg into a tree pose position for Vashistasana. Bring the heel close to your pubic bone. And as you inhale, turn your chest to face your right foot. Bring your left hand to grab a hold of your right foot. Then right hand. Fold forward over your leg. Inhale, come back up to seated. Turn your chest to face your left knee. Roll the chest open. Put your right hand along your inner leg. Slide your right hand along the inner leg and reach the left arm up and overhead. So see, if you can reach the hand towards the outside of the foot. Parvrita Janushirsasana. So keep the idea that you're lengthening the whole time, even though you're bending over and doing this funky side bend. Keep lengthening. Keep reaching the buttock bones down into the floor even. Then inhale, come back up and stretch the left leg out. Bend your right knee back. Bring the heel close to your pubic bone. The right knee stays wide as you bring the heel in. Inhale, sit up tall, turn your chest to face your left foot. Then start to fold forward. Bring your hands to grab a hold of your foot. As you inhale, get some length, lift your chest. And as you exhale, slowly start to bend forward. Inhale, come back up. Turn your chest to face your right knee. Roll the chest open and sit tall. Put your left hand along the inside of your leg. Start to slide your hand along your foot, or along your leg towards your foot. Reach your right arm up and over. Keep your chest turning as you reach for the foot. Remember, if it doesn't get there, it's okay. Keep reaching like that. If you feel like you have the mobility to, you can grab a hold of your foot. It probably would have been better for my alignment to just keep the arm up, but to show the full pose, it went for the foot. It's been a long time since I did this posture. It requires a lot of opening. So hopefully you feel like after this class, after we did all these different side stretches, you feel a little more able to get into this pretty challenging, tricky pose. Inhale, come back up. Now stretch both legs out. Sit in Tadasana. Sit up straight and tall. Inhale your arms up and overhead. Exhale, reach for your feet, Paschimottanasana. Seated forward stretch, Western intensive stretch pose, literally translated. So as you fold forward here, release the tops of the thighs, the inner thighs down, press through your feet. Keep the idea of lengthening as you fold. Inhale, come back up to seated. Now put your hands about a foot behind you. Roll your shoulders back, open your chest. Inhale. As you exhale, press into your heels and lift your outer hips. Purvottanasana, reverse plank. Roll your shoulders back, lift your chest. Now lift your outer hips and start to stretch your toes towards the floor. Reach. Slowly start to lower the hips back down towards the floor. Now lie down on your back, press your heels down, lift your hips up, and put the block on the medium height underneath your sacrum. You can cover your eyes if you have something to cover your eyes with. I did it because it's hot out and the sun's out of my eyes. Especially if you're outside, it might be nice to cover your eyes. Stretch your arms up and overhead. So in this stretch, instead of thinking about how high you can get in this bridge pose, instead think about lengthening. So we did a ton of forward bending and side bending after the back bend. So this is just to release your back, doing some reverse stretches of the forward bends to help to release your back after. So now press your heels down, lift your hips up off the block. Press your shoulder tips down, and again, instead of how high you can get, think of getting more length. So to do that, lengthen your buttocks towards the backs of your knees. Now, if your hips can go up high enough to put the block on the high height, go ahead and put the block on the high height and get a little bit more stretch. But if it feels better on the medium height, just put the block on the medium height and stay there. We'll be here for about a minute or so. Supported bridge pose. So this inversion is to balance out the effects of the inversion of Pincha Mayurasana. So I'm using a foam block. It's not ideal to use a foam block on the highest height. If you need to switch it back to the medium height because it's too mushy, it feels like it's going to fall over, you go ahead and do that. Just another half minute or so here. As you're on the block, you're letting the prop do the work for you. So in these supported postures, restorative postures, let the prop do the work. You're just letting yourself rest. Watch your breath start to mellow out. Watch your body start to calm down. Feel yourself begin to draw inward. Feel the effects of the hips being lifted up over the heart. How the blood starts to flow, how the energy changes. Then lift the hips up, move the block over to the side, slowly lower the hips down. Stretch the legs out, one at a time for corpse pose Shavasana. So give yourself a few minutes here to relax. Shavasana.